Love you, baby. Enjoy. Friday. Let's celebrate. A new beginning. Let's enjoy. Friday. Night hangout. Come join in the laughter. Let's celebrate the gift of new opportunity. And of attitude. Just focus. Every lifestyle has a silver lining. Good evening, success. Welcome. Yay, thank God it's Friday. Don't you worry. Knocking on your door. Let's celebrate. It's Friday night. Let's celebrate. A new beginning. Hey, welcome Mary. Welcome James. Welcome Stella. All right. Our stories. Though you may feel low, though you may feel low, come and join me and celebrate. Though you may feel low, come and join me and be inspired. Friday night hangout. Let's celebrate. As we love you begin. Let's enjoy. Friday night. Welcome to the 26th episode of Thank God It's Friday Night. This is Friday Night Hangout with Joy Onyesoh. I am super excited to have you here and thank you for always, joining me every Friday night by 7 p.m. I'm so excited. Welcome, Princess. Welcome, Rosemary. Welcome, Udochi. Welcome, John. Welcome, Blessing. And if you're just joining in, I want to see your TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. You know how we roll. Yes, Udochi, I'm so happy to see you. It's been a while. So thank you and welcome. Izuke J, welcome. TGIF. I love that. Theodora, welcome. TGIF. That's how we roll here. Welcome. Today we have a very special guest in our midst. We have a sister all the way from Florida, USA. We have Brandy Robinson. Just say hi to them, Brandy.
Hi.
Yay! So that's Brandy, and she is ready to pour into us tonight. But before we go into our conversation for tonight, I just want to take this time out to say welcome and to ask how your week has been. How has the week been for you? I know we live in uncertain times. I know that the pressure is real. But the Friday night is where we just distress, where we have fun, while we learn. So welcome to our safe space where we support ourselves, where we say it as it is, where we have very real conversations, and where we just make it happen. In the Friday night hangout, we learn how to celebrate ourselves. We learn skill sets. We learn from people who have broken grounds in different endeavors. We also learn and share our expertise. So everyone here is encouraged to use the chat box. Let us know how you're doing. Let us know how the week has been with you. And don't hesitate to just tell us what is happening on the chat box, even when the conversation is ongoing. You know how we roll here. We keep it very interactive. I want you to take time out to just say hello to Brandy and say welcome to Brandy. Let her feel the love from the tribe. I love how you welcome our guests. So let Brandy feel some of the Thank God It's Friday love. Yes. Thank you, Adora. Thank you, Theodora. Thank you, Princess. Thank you, Jane. Thank you, Dochi. Thank you, Blessing. Brandy, they're showing you so much love.
Thank
I know you
you.
can see the comments.
And right back
So,
at
Brandy, yay. So before we go into our conversation, remember this month, the month of November, we're discussing fashion and entertainment. But on this 26th episode, we're going to focus on entertainment and a particular aspect of entertainment. Brandy is going to take us through that. Last week, we had a conversation with Dorothy. It was explosive. And I can assure you that this week is also going to be very explosive and amazing. Welcome, Stella, all the way from Connecticut. Thank you for joining in. Adenike, thank you so much. Sumaya, always a pleasure to have you here. Olu Ebube, thank you for joining in. It's another special episode of Friday Night Hangout. And to announce the winner for last week. The winner for last week. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? The winner for last week is Seidu Musa. Let's give it up for Seidu Musa. Congratulations. You've won for yourself the cash prize of 5,000 naira. A member of my team would be in touch with you and collect your bank details. Oh, Seidu is here. Congratulations, Seidu. You're the winner for last week's contest, and you've just won yourself a cash prize of 5,000 naira. A member of my team will be in touch with you to collect your bank details. Welcome, Stella. Welcome, Shola. We're so excited to have you. Congratulations, Seidu Musa. Congratulations. Congratulations. It's a pleasure to have you here. And don't forget, the contest is still on. Share the video and then tag my business page. Please, not my personal page. Tag the business page, and we would see how many likes you have. And the post with the most number of likes gets to win the cash prize of 5,000 naira. So, hey, who is excited here? I am super excited. Brandy, are you happy to be here?
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Yes.
great. Thank you for taking time out to be with us today. And now I want you to sit tight, get your notepad and pen or pencil. It's going to be very, very explosive. I can tell you that. With us tonight is Brandy Robinson, all the way from Florida, USA. Brandy, please, can you self-introduce?
Yes. So I don't even know where to start. I've had so many wild experiences throughout my life, but to sum it up, how I got to this point in my life, it was just a collection of life experiences from early success, finding success in music as a child prodigy, going to college on a scholarship with my first degree at 20, teaching in high school, and led me into law school, where after law school, I was one of the youngest people in a prosecutorial role. And from there, I started teaching college, and I found success there. And through every level of success, I found adversity and opposition. And as a Black woman, I shouldn't have to tell you how hard it is to get there and to keep that, that momentum going. So I faced a lot of opposition and a lot of adversity, 10 times 10 times 10 over. And throughout those experiences, people heard my story. They invited me into organizations that work with the UN. I was able to do some good work there, leadership work, helping other people find their voice and also advocate for human rights. Because a lot of the experiences I had were human rights violations. And it was kind of disheartening to see people who wanted you to prove that trauma that you experienced, whereas other people, it was just the gospel. If they had trauma, it was the gospel. If you have trauma, you have to prove that. And so going through that, I had friends who said, once you write, that experience down, other people need to hear that story, because this was a story no one wanted told on the other side of this, that were doing the wrongs against me. And so I turned that story into a fictional novel, and that helped me process a lot of the trauma that I experienced from that situation. And so I used that, fictional novel under a pen name, because I was doing so much great work under my regular name that I wanted to separate that those two worlds, and also give voice to that superhero type of person that we all look inside of us to, find that person or that thing to rescue us from that, awful situation. And so I use that novel as a way to vocalize that and to help other people process similar traumas. And from that process, I also realized, hey, on the other side of that, there's also people who are trying to help those who have been traumatized, but they don't have the tools. And sometimes they're well intentioned, but they don't see it from the perspective of that traumatized individual. So that's why I developed not only that novel, but I started doing children's books specifically focused on trauma informed therapy, trauma informed practices, and it comes with curriculum. And it's one of several books that will be released, and each has a topic. The first topic, I actually bit off a big, part of that, trauma world, which is sexual abuse. And so I took that one topic and ran with it because it's a sensitive topic, especially when it relates to children, and trying to figure out what happened with that child in that situation. It's already hard enough for that child to express it. So writing a children's book really helped to dissect some of those, difficult pieces and give, the practitioners and clinicians the terminology to work with little kids. And from there, I did a TED Talk. Like I said, people hear your story and they want to hear more of that. They want people to know what others have experienced and how they have gotten out of that. And so I did a TED Talk on it. And it was an amazing experience. And from there, I kept getting leadership roles, handed to me because people saw that, hey, this is a person we can trust. And this person not only has went through trauma, but they understand it from both sides. And so I'm here to tell you that it's possible to get out of those traumatic situations and make something good out of it and not be stuck in that negative mental space that we sometimes get in.
Thank you so much, Brandy. This is really amazing. For those of you who were on the show last week, we had Dorothy, and she also talked about using her voice through audiovisual messages to inspire people to tell a story. And this time around, we have Brandy, who writes. She's an author, she's an advocate, she's a public speaker, and she uses all these mediums to really tell her life story. She uses it to inspire people. And, she writes a lot, even for children. So she's been able to use her life experiences to inspire other people. Like we would always say in this show, your story is your gift to the world. Don't hoard it. You've gone through that level. There are other people coming behind who will be inspired and encouraged by learning how you've managed to surmount challenges you've gone through. And life happens. And when life happens, we all go through one pressure or the other. Like Brandon said, I have my story. You have your own story. And Brandy, for those of us who are here, I'm also an author, and I know how we could get into that author's block where you have that mental block and you don't know where to start from in terms of writing. But those of us who are here, who have stories to tell, who are looking at, writing, becoming authors, writing their stories, or even who have started writing and, they got stuck at some point. What tips do you have for them?
Well, yeah, writer's block is very common. So it's different for everyone. Some people can just take a walk and then get a motive inspiration and get back to writing. Other people, it takes, an act of God almost. And so what I do is I normally just disconnect from everything and do something totally opposite of writing, get my mind off of writing and then come back to it. And if that doesn't work, I step away and try to find inspiration in other things. Creativity is a world opportunity, and it's not just in writing. Creativity can come from several different places. And so long as you keep that creative juice, that creative flow going, you will get back to that path of finding the right words. And I'm going to tell you, there's no right words. So if someone tells you there's a magic word that you can put on a paper and everything, magically appears, they're lying. Okay, so
True.
yeah, so and it's always more than one way to write something. The way I write could be totally different from someone else's. And what I would
True.
say is just write. Continue to
Mm.
write because that's the only way you're going to get over that hump. Um, and also forget the critics' work. Your art, your writing, your stuff. This is yours. This is no one else's. And so, and that's the beauty about writing, creative writing in particular. It's yours. You're giving a voice to it. So you take it as you get it.
Mm. Thank you so much for that. I hope we got this. Everyone has unique writing styles. I'm an author. We have so many authors in the audience. Brandy is an author, but we have different writing styles. And so none is more valid than the other. Your writing style is your authentic voice. We keep saying express yourself authentically. You don't have to copy anyone. You don't have to take anyone's voice. That's your voice. So your writing style is your voice. And when you find your voice, you own it. Now, there may be some certain skill set in terms of how you frame your book or your story. Yes, but then in terms of the style of writing, it's yours. Just take it and take credit for it. As long as you're passing the message, as long as your audience understands what you're saying, you're communicating, that's your writing style. So in terms of writing, in terms of framing, people can get overwhelmed. I remember the first time I tried to write years back. One of the things that really threw me off was knowing where to start from. How do you what kind of tips would you give in terms of, I have a story, I want to tell my story, I know that people are going to be blessed by my story, but I don't really know where to start from. So what kind of tips would you give us in structuring the book or the writing or the document we want to write on? What tips do you have for us?
Well, it's all sorts of ways people start writing the story. They can start from the middle, the beginning, the end. There's different theories on that. But what I would suggest is to get a writing journal with prompts that can help you begin to start the process of thinking about where do you want to begin. And if it's situations that are very traumatic where it brings up a lot of feelings, you probably don't want to start there yet because that's where the writing will get kind of confusing and muddy. And sometimes it's messy because what we want to put is not what we should put all the
Yeah.
time. Because we, like you said, we want to craft that message in a way that doesn't scare the reader away and doesn't confuse the reader, but draws the reader in. And so I would suggest to just keep writing. Take free writing classes online. There's tons of free writing classes, and it gives you some idea of how you want to frame that. Because your story is very unique, and you're giving your story out to not just the people here in the present, but the people in the future. Because this story will last for centuries. People will pick this book up somewhere and read that story. And so you want to make sure that you encapsulate everything that's really essential to your experience.
Hmm. I love this. I love what you said right now, that when you write, you're not just writing for the present, but you're writing for the future, meaning that you're leaving a legacy. And this one point I want us to note, writing a book, it's so unique, it's so deep, because the book lasts forever. The story would last forever. At some point, even if it's 100 years, I don't know how many of us know about Vincent Pell, The Amazing Power of Positive Thinking. I remember I started reading that book when I was about 8 years. And after close to 40 something years, the book is still very relevant today. And that book was written way before I was born. And it's still relevant today. People are still buying that book and still reading the book. And the values and principles in the book still remains true. And so that's one thing about your story. You know, no, it's ageless, it's timeless, it's a legacy. And don't feel pressured by it, but just write in your unique way, your voice. I just want you to know this, your writing style is your voice. When you find your voice, own it. Now, most of us have not been able to own our voice. And that's why you see us, we flip flop. You have different writing styles, you move back, you move forward. When you see any piece I write, even if I'm not there, you can readily say this is what Joy has written. Because your words have life. The words are life. And they speak to your being, they speak to who you are. And when people your write up, they can say, oh, this is this person's write up. It looks like this person write up. It sounds like this person, So, don't be pressured about it. But if you are drawn to writing, then start writing. One of the things that can also help you in writing is consistency. Nobody starts off from day one being a pro. So you write, keep writing and writing, and then you just hone your skill set in writing as you move along the years. It gets better and better because, you write, you read through, you find some mistakes, people will critique what you've written. Take it with an open heart. I remember the first book I wrote, there was a lot of grammatical errors. Even till tomorrow, you will have some because that's why we have editors. And sometimes the editors don't do very good job of editing your book. So when people criticize it, take it in good faith, note it down, and then improve on it. Okay? Great. Do you have something else to say, Brandy? Yeah. Come on.
Yeah, I definitely agree with the editing process because even when you find errors, there's always another one out there. Again, more than one way to write. And what I would say is just keep writing and edit later because we have some of the most famous writers and artists in the world who got famous off of their writing style that was not necessarily grammatically correct. So they were not the most correct writer in all aspects, but they're famous for that type of style. And we don't know what our audience likes until we put it out there. So, when you put it out there, you really don't know. So you have to try everything. And if it sticks, great. Go with that.
Good. Thank you so much. And, I was really intrigued when I saw that you write comic books as well. So I was like, oh, what draws you into that? Can you tell us more about your creating comic books?
I'm a nerd. I am such a nerd. From a child, I've always been a nerd. I claim it. And, anybody that's a nerd understands comic books and they understand that weird area that, they tend to just gravitate towards. That's their happy place. And actually, comic books, superhero movies, sci-fi movies, that's my happy place. And so trying to process a lot of the stuff that I've been through over the years, I figured if I'm going to do a novel, why not do a comic book? That way I can, actually translate it another way where people who need that visual, they can see it, not just read it. And so I teamed up with graphic artists who put my, vision to life. And that's what I do. And again, you don't have to have this, superhuman artistic skill to draw or write. You can tap into freelancers who are doing this work on their own, and they're more than happy to help you. And obviously, you have to pay these people. Most people that I've met, but it's a nominal fee, and then you own your work. You want to strike that agreement that you own this. You don't want that kind of agreement where they get rights to the graphics and you have rights to the words. And so you want to strike that agreement where you own everything. And that's what I did. I own everything. I paid them for their artistic expertise, and I get that commercial license to use that graphic that they created based off of my likeness and the comic book itself. And so that's how I got into comic strips. And I do a free monthly strip. And it's something that, out there because it's just something I'm trying. Again, I'm just trying, just putting my creativity out there, releasing it out to the universe. So, I can get some of that energy out that I've been harboring, over the years with the trauma that I experienced. Again, this is another avenue to release that trauma, to release the traumatic experience. And the more you get that out, the more you release that negative and into more of the positive. So I encourage anyone that has a story, because we all have stories, to release it out there and just let it be.
True. I like that. Thanks for that. Onye says, Brandy, I'm connecting to your words quite easily. And Rita says, thank God it's Friday. Theodora, writing style is her voice. Onye says again, yes, writing comic books is something to listen to. I read twice today and thought to myself, this can be easy. Great. And you pointed out something about collaboration. Collaboration is a new currency. Like Brandy said, you don't have to be an expert at everything. You have the idea, you find some other person that has the skill set in the graphics, and you collaborate. You pay the person a nominal fee, and then you get the person to do the creativity for you while you provide the content. So don't be afraid to collaborate. You can't do all yourself. So collaboration is also very key. That's why you see sometimes we co-author novels, we co-author books. It sometimes bring together different writing styles, different stories, and when you bring those stories together, they are a masterpiece because the reader is engaging from different angles. But most times, always, there's some kind of framework that is unique to the authors, but then you're seeing it from different sides, and then you're inspired. Gloria says more interesting. Stella says writing is a mastery. Onye says collaboration is a new currency. Exactly. Collaboration is a new currency. Before I turn back to Brandy, I have some announcements to make, and I want you to listen tight. I'm excited because this is our 26th edition, and we're finally getting very close to wrapping up the season. We have 30 episodes in this season, and the season will be wrapped up finally on the 18th of December 2020. Who is excited? I'm excited. It's not easy to have been doing it for 26 weeks running, and we're wrapping up finally this season at the 30th episode, which is happening on the 18th of December. Now, we have some gifts just to say, I have special gifts to say thank you to everyone who have stayed true with me from the beginning of this episode, from day one, from episode one. I see some regulars who haven't missed an episode at all. While we have some for one reason or the other, yes, but you still know that they're regulars. So we have 5 categories of those who we're going to be rewarding come December 18th, which is our 30th episode. Now, the first category is the most engaged on the Friday night hangout. So my team is going to be picking out the most engaged individual on the Friday night hangout from the episode 1 May 22nd when we started, and we'll announce the winner on December 18th. Now, the second category is the most consistent person. So the person who has the most frequency attending the Friday night hangout. So maybe you didn't attend all, maybe you attend maybe 28, 29, but you have the highest frequency in attending the Friday night hangout. Then you're going to get a surprise from me. It's just my little way of saying thank you for staying true with me this season. The third category is my most consistent follower. So if you're following me across all my social media platforms, Friday night hangout inclusive, and you drop notes, comments on my blog, on my website, the different social media handle Power Woman, then I tell you you'll have something great coming up for you December 18th. So my team is also on that. The fourth category is consistency in sharing the Friday night hangout post. So for those who are very consistent in sharing every episode of the Friday night hangout, even before we started the contest, I have something to say thank you. Thank you so much. Without you, there would be no Friday night hangout. If you don't turn up every Friday night, we wouldn't have anyone to interact with. And yes, then the final category is for the person that has been very consistent in turning up early. So some people turn up even before 7 p.m. So we're going to go through the whole 29 episodes, and on the 30th episode, we're going to announce the person. So I just want to say, this is my own little way of saying thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you all, and you know how we roll. Thank God it's Friday. This is where we learn. This is where we celebrate. So I want you to be excited. So it's going to happen December 18th. I don't want you to miss that episode. So just come on in. It's going to be a very interactive, fun-filled episode where we just win lots of gifts. It's Christmas season, and we're going to wrap up the year with a very big bang. Now, we're also going to have a shout-out segment on December 18th. So the first 5 persons to send me the Christmas greetings and to individuals, organizations they want to have a shout out to on December 18th, So if you want to do some shout out to your friends, your family, or just to say thank you to anyone, December 18th is the time. So the first 5 persons to send me the shout out request will get the shout out done December 18th. And remember where you send it to. Send it to fnh@joyonyesoh.com. I take that again. Send out your shout out request to fnh@joyonyesoh.com. Now, it's a Christmas season. We're going to have a discount sales like we've never done before. So I want you to get ready. From November 24th to the 3rd of December, massive discount on all my books and also on the Power Woman magazine. So get ready. I'm not going to tell you the price, but the price is going to wow you. It's almost like free. So get ready. It's going to be on for a limited time, November 24th to December 3rd. So you want to get my book, The Molding of the Master Vessel, She Power, Power Woman magazine. Get yourself ready. 24th of November through to 3rd of December. Watch out on my personal page. Also watch out on my business page. You're going to get details of the massive discount. It's a one-time offer. It's a Christmas sale offer, and it's going to last for that limited period of time. So get yourself ready. If you haven't gotten the book, so both on the ebook and the hard copy books, everything is going up at a massive discount. Finally, the season we're in, we're all set to launch the Power Woman Forum. I'm so excited. This is a kingdom-minded platform for women across the globe. And we're going to be unveiling our different membership categories. Come December 11th is a physical launch happening in the cold city of Nigeria, Enugu, Nigeria. You don't want to miss this. We have some very special guests coming up, some special guest speakers. We're going to unveil our special guests and guest speakers by next week. It is something you don't want to miss. Comedy, edifying, uplifting, inspirational music, Christian music, reflective messages, laser coaching is going to happen all on that day. You don't want to miss this. 11th December, 3 p.m. And you know what? We have limited tickets because of the COVID protocol. So we have limited tickets going out, and tickets are almost gone, I tell you. The ticket goes for 5,000 naira. All you need to do is to do a transfer of 5,000 naira to my GTB account 0602814703. I take that again. You transfer 5,000 naira to Joy Onyesoh, GTB account 0602814703. After doing the transfer, please send your evidence of payment to this phone number 0703 721 2272. 073-721-2272, and you get your e-ticket immediately. We have color codes for the day: gold, white, and red. It's going to be awesome. Really, it's a place you need to be in December 11th. Okay, so I'm going to turn back to my sister, Brandy.
Hi.
So we continue our conversation. Hey, hi. So we continue our conversation. Adenike says, it's nice to hear about collaboration in writing. I'm a prolific reader and I have ideas about writing. It's indeed nice to hear about collaboration. Do you have any tips on collaboration? You know, there are also some legal angles to it, especially if you want to get some residuals from collaborative writing. What do you have experience in that? What tips would you give so that they are aware of some of the loopholes or what they need to look out for?
Well, it's a lot of loopholes and a lot of legal, framework that you have to follow
Yeah.
when publishing a book. And today we can self-publish, through Amazon and different, mediums, but that doesn't automatically give you the right, you know,
Yeah.
to that writing in its, essence. So you have to really read those fine details, because when you self-publish through those forums, they take some of that, that licensing away from you. So it's really best to find let's say, a template to show you how to put together the parts of that book, and buy the codes or the book numbers, what they call ISBN numbers, and use those codes to make your own book. And once you have that code, that's your book in its entirety, unless, of course, any graphics that you put in there, you don't own those graphics. Again, that's, for you to get a freelancer to create those graphics, and you own those graphics right out. And so that's what I, done with my book. And actually, I have a copy of it right here. Um, let's see, Bernice Raff, and this is
Yeah.
Ebony and Ella. And if you see Ebony and Ella, that's a person of color in that picture right there. So, and the reason why I made sure that I created the children's book with people of color, because I wanted to make sure that we represented everyone. And
Mm.
so, and again, the graphic artist was really, really good at doing that. You give them the ideas, they can put it, bring it to life the way you want it. And the book cover to the end of the cover, again, you find, let's say, a format that fits, your likeness, because books can be different sizes, they can be different colors. Pick it and go with it, and that way, that template, you don't need too many, machines doing the work for you.
Mm.
A self-publishing service, you can do it yourself and have it all in one PDF and ready to publish. And that's really the way to go about it. From the codes to the end of the book, you want to make sure you own each step of that process. So when you do actually sell it out to the world, you get more money back, because they take their money from off of the forms you're selling it, but
Yeah.
you get more money coming back to you. Obviously, if you don't have to dish it out to other people. And so that's my advice as far as the legal aspect, is to do it all your own, because it doesn't take that much money. A lot of people think it takes a lot of money to publish a book. It doesn't. When it comes to marketing, that's a different matter. You can, do it different ways. You can spend a lot of money on marketing, or you don't have to. So, it's up to you. But again, you can do it yourself. And I would say, don't be hard on yourself if you don't sell a lot of books. You have to know the why behind why you're writing. If you're writing to
Mm.
release, to, just put your story out there, or to make people laugh, to entertain, to persuade, you need to know the
Mm.
why. And so,
Mm.
and your measure of success is how you define it. So it's not
Mm.
how the world defines it. So if you sell one book and that's all your goal was, to sell one book, you were successful. You met that goal. So
Mm.
don't compare yourself to someone else that, has, a claim to fame in something else. It's your road, your journey, and you take it as it is. And don't try to be something that you're not. Be authentic. That's another tip that I would tell you. Be authentic. Be your authentic voice in your writing. And sometimes it may not come off as that's the way you wanted the first time. But again, you gotta keep at it. The first book may not be the one. It may be the second
Mm.
one, maybe the third one. But you will get better at it. You just don't give up. Because the difference
Mm.
between success and failure is giving up. That's really the biggest difference. And I'm sure you know that. You know that. I don't even have to
Yes. Yes.
you
Yes.
know. So you have to keep at this, because eventually it's a numbers game. Statistically, you're going to win. It's just how
Yes.
long will it take you to get there?
I love this. Thank you so much, Brandy. I really love this. This is really loaded with nuggets. What you just said now has so much nuggets in it. I love the bit when you talked about, you know, let's self-define what success really means in terms of writing. It could be just, it could just be completing the book. Completing the book and putting it out in the public space may be what is success means to you. It may be just selling 10 books, 1,000 copies or whatever. But let it be your own definition of what success is. Don't be under any pressure to follow any other definition of success. It has to come from you. And it said something again about knowing the reason of writing the book. Very key. So when you want to write, ask yourself that question. Why am I writing this? Why do I want this to be there in the public. And once you can define your why, every other thing falls into place. But you need to understand your why. Once you know your why, everything's simple. And thank you so much, Brandy, for even the tips on the legal work required. You know, the world has really gone digital these days. No matter where you are, the world is now a global village. And we need to be very mindful what we put out in the digital space. So sometimes, ignorance is not an excuse. And so you need to really update yourself. So before you put anything out in the digital format, please make inquiries. You need to ask from the experts, even if it means paying some money to get information. Please do that. Don't make assumptions. Do not make assumptions. The days where you can act in ignorance is all gone. We're in a new normal where the digital space reigns. And so you need to be very sure what you're doing and how you're doing it. Now, even for those that plagiarize, this is, you plagiarize, you put it out there without giving. Plagiarism means when you take someone else's work, creativity, without giving credit to the person. Now, it's going to catch up with you in this digital age, because there's some people out there experts just looking for who is plagiarizing what, and it will catch up with you, even if it's not now. In the future, it may be when you have hit what you term as your success, then your past will catch up with you. So be very careful what you put out and take credit for. Be very, very careful about that. And Brandy, what do you have to say to this? Because this is really a very serious issue.
Oh yeah, plagiarism, and you know this being a professor, and as a professor myself, plagiarism will get you in jail, honey. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm going to be, totally upfront with that. In the academic world, you will be expelled from an institution, but plagiarism in the real world, outside of the academic world, you will go to jail because that is a offense. And so you don't want to even take an ounce of someone else's work and pretend that it's yours, because like you said, this is a digital world. We cannot act ignorant anymore because we're surrounded by information. Even if we don't want it, we're inundated with information. And so my advice is to be authentic, to be original, and to own your work. No one can take back your story, okay?
Yeah.
Because that's your story. That is the most authentic piece of you that you can have in any writing, is your story. And so own that story, use it to propel you to other avenues, other heights, because everyone has a story, but it's not your story. Your story is yours. That's only I love Beyonce. I tell all my friends that I love some Beyonce. And so there's only one Beyonce. Nobody else can be Beyonce. Okay?
Yeah.
You understand that? So be who you are, because there's no one else like you. And what's for you is going to be for you. You follow that road. But if you're following another road and you're trying to mimic or be somebody that you're not, it's not going to work. No matter how many times you dress and act and want to put on a face like Beyonce, you're not Beyonce. You're not going to claim, attention and claim the fame as Beyonce. And let me tell you, Beyonce is the bomb. This, like nobody can top her. Okay. And if anybody tries to be like her, I'm sure people know from the instant that that's a fake, that's a phony. And that's the same with plagiarism. When people see two things that are alike, people know authentic and they know fake. So you don't want to be on the other side of that fake. You want to be on the side of the authentic side. So and you want to make sure that when you start off your writing career or your writing process, that you do it with integrity. You don't want anybody to have to question what you do. That's one less worry, one less stress you have to worry about. The only thing that you should be worried about is how to tell your story to people when you get that chance to tell it. Because you never know when the time is right and then you're wrong. At that book, someone got to the right hands and you're wrong. And that's your time to actually tell your story the way you want it.
Thank you so much, Brandy. This is really very key. We see this happen all the time on Facebook, on other things. You pick up people's stories and you just copy and you paste as if it's your own story. When you do that, please, you need to give people credit. It's very important that you practice giving people credit. You can model. People usually would ask me, I've gotten questions like, okay, so how do you model? And, what is the difference between modeling and copying? What would you say, Brandy? What's the difference between modeling something? Sometimes your creativity is sparked by some person or some write-up. So how do you model without copying? Is a thin line. So please, what would you say to that? What tips or advice would you give?
Well, you want to give credit to where it's due, first of all. And there's different ways you can do. You can summarize people's work and still give credit. You can quote, but you don't want to quote too much. My
Yeah,
rule with that is don't quote more than 40 words from any source, and don't have more than 40 words out of your in total writing piece,
yeah,
because 40 words in essence would be a phrase or a paragraph, and you don't want to go over that. But you still have to give credit to because all ideas have to start from somewhere. And so no one has, all our ideas, but we have to give that, credit to where the idea originated from. And
mm,
so that's what I would say, still give credit. Summarize, paraphrase, quote, but do it in moderation and make sure you know for certain that this is, where you got it from. Because they could have got it from somewhere else too. So, you have people quoting from several sources, and by the time you quoted this person, you figured out it came from 5 other sources before you.
yeah,
So you
yeah.
have to do your research and be authentic. Again, I love being authentic. Your authentic self, you stand in your truth. No one can take it away from you because that's your truth. But people can challenge you when you actually take other people's work, and then now you're having to, forever cover up that lie. And
Mm,
why live a life of a lie?
mm. I love this. I really, really love this. This is really, really hurt. And this conversation is really very timely at a time like this when a number of us are thinking of writing or even creating programs. It's not just about writing. When you want to create programs, you want to create a movie, you want to create a comic, you want to create anything you're creating, please do not plagiarize. Make sure that the idea is yours, is authentic. And like Brandy said, you want to minimize, quoting or giving so much credit. So you need to make sure your voice comes out. When you go through an experience, what you get is very unique to you. We all could go through the same experience, but I tell you, we're all going to come out with different perspective. So tell your story from your own perspective. Even if you think it doesn't make sense, you can't serve everyone. There are certain people who will be inspired by your own story and who your story is relevant to. Find that audience and serve them. Find that audience and serve them. The challenge we have is when we want to serve everyone. You want to be relevant to everyone. It's difficult. And so in so doing, you're grabbing from different sources to enrich, to make it big and all that. It's difficult. Own your voice. Focus on your lane and serve the people you're meant to serve. As you grow in experience, your skill set expands, your circle of influence expands. You have to go through the process. Be willing to go through that process. It's not a quick fix. You can't just start up today and you know it all, you're there, but no. If you listen to Brandy's story, she has come through a process to where she is today. Isn't it, Brandy?
Oh yeah. That would be a whole nother Friday session. Okay, so I won't even get into that one, honey, and I'm sure the people that's responsible for what I've been through will want you to know everything that I've been through, and that's another thing about the story, that your story that also shares a lot about not only what you've been through and what kind of person you are, but what kind of people are there are in that story that either did harm to you or helped you or loved you, whatever kind of story it is. So it doesn't just tell about who you are as a person, but it tells about who the other people are too. So make sure when you
Mm,
write that story that you make sure you share all the details, because
mm,
I've learned when other people heard my story outside of the narrative writing, they actually, gave me insight that I never saw before. They were like,
mm,
you've been through all this trauma and no one has ever questioned why this happened. And no one arrested, no one ever, were apprehended for doing these things. And so that's what propelled me to write the story, because they were like, "You never got justice. This is, it's kind of sad that you go through all this pain and trauma and sorrow, and you never got justice." And so writing gave me that justice.
Mm,
Writing allowed me to be something that I was not, which is the superhero of my story. And so I was able to use that voice to create the narrative that I wanted. And so I turned that narrative around. And so that's why I say use your story, because that's the most authentic, part of you. And you can be whoever you want in that creative writing process. And I encourage, others to do it that way too. And we need more stories like this. We need more diversity in, movies, in writing, in screenplays, because we don't see a lot of that today. We need the real stories out there that are not being told. Uh, in its massive form.
mm. Thank you so much, Brandy. So, writing can also help you heal, and it gives you your limited power that you already have. It draws out the power inside of you to change the narrative. Like Brandy said, she was able to change the narrative and get justice through writing. So find that sweet spot for you. Find out what's right. And that's why we said you need to ask yourself why. Why are you writing? Why are you telling the story? That helps you to, know who you're directing your story to, and also for you to find your own style in writing. So own it. Even if your style seems very pedestrian to you, that's your voice. Use it. And you just keep honing it and owning it as you move along the process. Okay, it's time for our giveaway before we come back to Brandy for her final words. Theodora says, thank you so much, Brandy. Ifeanyi says, thank you so much, Ma. Adara says, thank you so much, Brandy. Onyi says, originality. Don't be scared of being you. Exactly. East KJ says, say no to plagiarism. That's the word. Chinwe Adeze says, thank God it's Friday. That's it. Thank God it's Friday. If I have not called for numbers yet, so you're disqualified. This your number is not. I just said, let's get ready for giveaway, and then you put in your number. So I'm going to change the format. Now it's time for a giveaway. We want to take the first 10 persons to put out their number, and beside it, they write Friday Night Hangout, FNH. Your number and FNH. Let's see the first 10 persons. Your number and FNH. Your number, FNH, the first 10 persons. Who will be the first person? Let me see who is coming up first. If I Adora, no. Beautiful. I have the first person, Sumaya Musa, has a number FNH. Rabbi, beautiful. Congratulations. Oh no, okay, it's all coming up here. So I leave it to my team. You pick out the first 10 persons. So back to Brandy. What will be your wrapping words for us? How, give us your concluding thoughts.
So I would leave with this, that you don't need anyone to co-sign your art and your writing. You don't need anyone to approve what you're doing. And you don't need anyone's approval to be successful. Understand that you can go out and be successful without my approval, without Joy's approval. You just go out and be successful. A lot of times we get into that mode where we feel we have to get someone to co-sign to approve what we're doing, as if their stamp of approval means that we're great or that we're, doing good things. No, doing good things. So go out and do what you need to do to make yourself feel better in your life, to be happy in a healthy way. Do it in a healthy way. If it's writing, if it's drawing, if it's graphic design, whatever type of art you're doing, put it out there into the world and release it, because other people, like Joy said, they're dependent on you. You may be that inspiration. We don't know. We don't know. Put it out, and you have to try. And the difference between success and failure is not trying.
I love this. Thank you so very much, Brandy. And how can we contact you in case anyone here wants to reach out to you, want to get your books? How can they get that? How can they get your books? How can they reach out to you? How can they connect with you?
My website is brandyrobinson.com. But my books are on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles. They're all in the major online retailers, so you can get the books that way. But to contact me directly, it's brandyrobinson.com.
Exactly. Thank you so much. So if you want to reach out to Brandy, please contact her at brandyrobinson.com. Please make sure you contact her. You want her books in Barnes and Nobles, Amazon. You can have her books there. Now we're going to take the final set of giveaways. Adenike says, thank you, Brandy. We appreciate. So the final set of giveaway right now. Success says, thank you so much, Brandy. Now we're going to take our final giveaway. The next, if you're a winner in the first set, when my team goes through, we're not going to pick you for the second set. So we want to make sure that as much as possible, everyone has an opportunity of winning something tonight. So we're going to take 5 winners tonight, extra winners tonight. And so I want to see your number, and then beside it, PWF. That is Power Woman Forum. So your number and then PWF. Your number, PWF. Your number, PWF, the first 5 persons. Success says it was an amazing season. Cindy says, nice hanging out with you, Brandy. So let's see the first 5 winners. Oh, yes, I have the first person, Success, Jane. Great. So my team will pick up the first 5 persons. Let's just keep it going. Thank you so much, Brandy. This has been really exciting. It has also been very insightful. I told you all to get ready, have your notepad and pen, because I know that it was going to be an explosive conversation. And she really did pour out into us and did justice to the conversation. So if you're here and you're still thinking about whether to write or put down those beautiful ideas you have or tell your story, you've listened to Brandy, you've listened to myself did today, and we're asking you, what are you waiting for? The world is waiting for you. Your story is a gift to someone out there. Go write out. Start writing. You have to. One of my friend, Free to be MJ, says, you don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great. And so that's what I would tell you today. That if you want to be great, you have to get started. But you don't have to be great to get started. Always remember that. And finally, do remember that you have limitless opportunities before you. Don't box yourself. You are the only person that can self-sabotage. You have all the power within you to make whatever you so envision to manifest. But you need to get started. Even if it's a baby step, get started. And be consistent while you're at it. Take consistent baby steps. And before you know it, you're running and you're soaring. But you need to get started. Don't forget to share the video for this episode. And we're going to announce the winner next week. Remember to look out for the massive discount that will be happening on Tuesday. If you haven't gotten your Power Woman Forum launch tickets, please do. The tickets are selling out fast. If you haven't gotten the Power Woman magazine, please get your magazine, and also look out for the Christmas sales. I love you all. Stella says, oh, you don't have to be great to get started. You just have to get started to be great. That's it. Success says consistency. I love you all. I honor you. I celebrate you. And while you're at it, have a very restful, favored weekend. And don't forget to celebrate yourself. Remember to celebrate yourself. Remember to keep self-validating. Like Brandy said, you don't need anyone else to validate you. You have the right, you have the power to validate yourself. Until I see you next weekend, it is stay blessed, stay favored, and remain your best. Be the best version of yourself. Thank you so much, Brandy. Really, thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's been so amazing having you. Thank you so much for sharing with us today. And I look forward to having you some other time on this show to keep sharing with us from your wealth of experience. And so before we wrap up, finally, I want us to listen to the Friday Night Hangout music. DJ, can we have a Friday Night Hangout music? Just listen to the reflective words.